All right. Well, thank you to you who've been joining me this vacation. Continue to enjoy this amazing book. We'll just jump right in. Page 134, Chapter 19, Drunk in the Guard Tower. Drunk in the Guard Tower. More intrigue unfolds. Tuesday, September 3rd, 1935. So the kissing incident was August 27th. Now this is September 3rd, so it's kind of a week later. Today is my first day of 8th grade. I have Piper in 3 of my classes, but she totally ignores me in school, and on the way home too. I feel like I'm a toad squashed flat on the street for all the attention she pays me. She's always a little mad, but it's worse than usual. Jimmy, Teresa, and Annie don't start school until next week. St. Bridget's has less school days than Marina, which isn't fair. St. Bridget's sounds like it's a Catholic school, and the Marina school is a San Francisco public school. Teresa had to go early for orientation, and Mrs. Madiman asked me if I would pick her up after school. So I walk all the way to St. Bridget's to get her. Teresa is so excited to be in real school that she jabbers my head off the whole way home. On the island, we head for the canteen, that's a store, where we find Jimmy sitting at the counter, his head resting on his hands like he's concentrating on something. He doesn't even flinch when we walk in. Since what happened with the secret passageway, it's been too uncomfortable between Jimmy and me. What isn't said sits like a piece of dog crap between us. I wish it could be the way it was before. Every day I pretend it, and maybe eventually it will be. Jimmy, Teresa yells, like the way she always does. You're wrong. I didn't need my nickel. Ha! I get a candy bar. Jimmy picks up his head slowly like it's too heavy to lift. Uh-huh. Teresa whispers, did your flies die? Jimmy has been quite successful, actually, with his fly breeding project. Down under the dock, he has a big barrel full of the brim with hundreds of flies, maybe more. Better go home, Teresa. Teresa's eyes go out. Rocky! Is Rocky? Rocky's fine. It's Dad. Dad got hurt? Dad's on probation. Jimmy looks at me. You're Dad too, Moose. They got written up for being drunk on guard tower duty. What? That's crazy, I say. I'm not even worried about it. That's how nutty this is. Teresa's mouth drops open, but no sounds come out. His chin juts forward with the force of the news. Daddy's never been drunk in his whole life, says Teresa. But why? Why would anyone be out to get Daddy? Teresa asks as I head out the door, up the stairs as fast as I can. Mom! I slam in our apartment. My mom is washing the windows, wearing a pair of my dad's old pants that are too short for her. She takes one look at me. You heard. Dad wouldn't drink while he was working. Of course not. Somebody made this up to get him in trouble? Looks that way, but your dad told me I should simmer down about it. He thinks it was a mistake and it'll get straightened out in due time. I'll tell you one thing. The warden would be a fool to lose your dad. Was it Trixel? Darby likes to stir the pot, but I don't think he'd lie. Yeah, me neither. I agree. One thing's for sure. We have to be extra careful until this mess works itself out. If you're on probation, have any trouble at all, you're gone. No second chances. And with Natalie coming home on Friday, oh, that's right. And that big shindig this weekend, too. I'll be careful, I assure her. She takes my chin in hand. I know you will be, Moose. 6 months we've lived here with Natalie, and we've never had a problem with the warden or Darby. I suppose I got you to thank for it, Moose. I twist my chin gently away from her. My mom doesn't know everything about that time. She doesn't know about Nat's friendship with 105. You know, Moose, Mrs. Madiman and I were talking. How are things with you and the warden's daughter? My mom doesn't refer to Piper by name anymore. Did you have a little fight? You could call it that. My mom folds her clean cloth. Well, if you have a little fight, then this thing happens. What a coincidence, huh? Piper wouldn't do this. Well, I hope you're right. She have any reason to be mad at Jimmy or Teresa? She asks. She's mad at Teresa, but Mom, Piper's always mad at someone. It's the way she is. Things are tough at our house right now with a new baby and on the way. Her mama feeling poorly. You watch yourself around that girl, okay? She's pretty, I'll give you that, but she's more trouble than you know. Yes, ma'am. Help me empty this pan. Together we take the pan filled out with melted ice water from the ice box and pour it in the sink. When we dump the water, she takes a rag and gives the pan a good scrub. Everybody's always telling me how lucky I am to have you. Did you really get Beatrix a rose? Yeah. Did you now? I don't imagine Darby appreciated that too much. I had an extra. A 12-year-old boy with an extra rose? It's hard to explain, Mom. Oh, I bet it is. Annie's mom says you're interested in needlepoint, too? I roll my eyes. She smiles at me slyly. Apparently, I'm not giving you the right kind of chores I'd wish I had known. I've got some mending that needs doing. You interested, Moose? Cut it out, Mom. She laughs. I got a son who can do no wrong. Guess I can't complain about that, can I? All right, chapter 20. Welcome home, Natalie. It's Friday, September 6th, 1935. Nat and my parents are supposed to be on the 4 o'clock ferry. Teresa, Jim, and I are waiting. Teresa's made a sign that says, Welcome home, Natalie, spelled badly in pencil, with glued-on buttons. My mom got a store-bought lemon cake. I borrowed some of Jimmy's fly harness thread, and I made Natalie a bracelet. Will Scout be over this weekend? Asked Jimmy. Nope. You going to Scouts? Jimmy freezes, waiting for my answer. Nope. You should see how many flies I have now. Maybe 50,000. 50,000 flies? No kidding. My hives, I hope hives aren't coming back. My leg feels very itchy. Jimmy nods. They move around so much it's hard to count. I think Natalie could do it. If anyone can count 50,000 flies, it's Natalie. Jimmy's brown eyes are full of excitement. That's what I figured. You find out any more about who got our dads on probation? My mom thinks it's Piper. Everybody thinks it's Piper. Piper wouldn't do anything that bad. Teresa and Jimmy look at each other. You go talk to her, Jimmy says. Why me? You're the one who told her about the secret crawl space. From what I learned, you didn't seem to mind that too much, Moose. I look at Teresa. You weren't going to tell anybody, remember? Remember, they kissed. They sort of kissed. Moose and Piper, right? Jimmy just isn't anyone, you know. Oh, thanks, Teresa. Natalie's coming, and they point at the ferry, which headed down towards us, a flock of birds flying above it. The boat is streaming across the water. The sun is shining through the clouds, making the wake sparkle. My dad is handsome in his officer's uniform. My mom is wearing her good green coat. Nat is sitting with her head down like she's reading. From a distance, they look normal. Your dad talked to the warden? Jimmy asks, as Mr. Madiman, who's acting like sergeant, jumps on the dock. He still has the same duties when he's on probation. They just check on him all the time like he's a junior officer again. He's not worried. He thinks it was a mistake. You're just like your dad. You know that, Jimmy says? What's that supposed to mean? My father carries Natalie's suitcase that says Natalie Flanagan written on all sides. My dad is kidding around her, pretending to drop the suitcase. My mother doesn't like this. I can tell by her way, her hands on her hips, that she's giving him a taste of her mind. Natalie says something to my dad that makes him laugh all the more. He hands her the suitcase. Hey, kids! Mr. Madiman comes up behind us. Trixel's up in the guard tower. Natalie and my dad come across the gangplank. Natalie is not looking down at her feet like she usually does. She's focused to the left. Her shoulders are slumped. She's crossed through the metal detector when it buzzes loud. My mother back gets stiff. She stares at Natalie. Natalie's quiet, almost like she doesn't hear her. Cam, Trixel bellows through the bullhorn from the guard tower. Madiman will need to search the suitcase. I know Trixel's itching to do it himself, but he's not allowed to leave the guard tower. My dad waves to Trixel. Of course, he says. But when he tries to take Natalie's suitcase from her, she won't let go. Probably afraid she'll drop it in the bay. My mom whispers to her, I must have metal buttons of those in her box of hers. My dad tells Mr. Madiman. His Mr. Madiman smiles kindly. He whispers something in Natalie's ear. Natalie doesn't look back at him, but I can tell with the angle of her head that she's listening. When he's finished, her shoulders relax down an inch or two. She hands Mr. Madiman the suitcase. My mother smiles big. I can't help feeling proud of Natalie. First, she didn't scream when the snitch box went off, and now she's handing her suitcase over. I know her buttons are in there, but still, she lets go. Mr. Madiman seems to be explaining to her, and she puts her head to the side, nods, and puts herself on the wooden dock right where she is. He kneels on one leg, clicks open the suitcase, and Natalie and him look inside. He puts his hand in Natalie's button box, and he's clearly asking her if it's okay to look inside. Mr. Madiman nods and holds the button box out to Natalie. She picks out a half-dozen buttons, and Mr. Madiman waves the all clear to Trixel in the guard tower. We're all set here, Darby. A handful of metal buttons is all. He leans down to Natalie to help her buckle her suitcase again. Alrighty then, back in business, Nat. Natalie is coming home, says Natalie. A tiny smile flashes across her face. Yes, you are, sweet pea. Yes, you are. Chapter 21, Shiny Buttons. At home, Nat wants no pomp of mom or dad. She heads straight for her closet, opens the door, counts the dresses and blouses hanging there. She puts her fingers inside the folds. She's measuring the depth of each one. She runs her hand along the wall to see if every bump of plaster is still there. She turns the doorknob, which opens and closes the door again. She moves to the bathroom, running her hand along the wall. When she's done, she comes out the living room and sits on the couch, her hands underneath her legs. For a second, she looks right at me, which is kind of spooky. Like having a teddy bear all your life, and then all of a sudden you see the teddy bear's eyes moves. Then she's back to her solid focus on the floor. Natalie, it's so nice to have you back, my mom says. Natalie does not looking up. It's as if she's holding her hands beneath the leg requires all her concentration. Do you want to unpack your suitcase? Helen, Cam, yoo-hoo. Mrs. Capone knocks on the door. It's your turn. Our turn for what? Mom whispers to Dad. Her new icebox. She got ones that runs on electricity. We have to go see it. Does she know Nat's here? We have all weekend with Natalie. Moose will keep an eye on her. Mrs. Capone doesn't have much in her life these days. Oh, you, Mrs. Capone. You'll never guess what B said. Mrs. Capone is now standing in our living room. She has on her good blue flowered apron, the one that she wears for entertaining. She said she thinks mine is larger than the warden's icebox. Can you imagine? Of course, I didn't get out my measuring tape, and you can think what you want, but... Moose, keep an eye on Natalie while we run down to Mrs. Cacone's. Maybe you and Teresa can help her unpack. My dad says, before my mom follow Mrs. Capone outside. In a room, we watch her go through her buttons and organizing them just like she always does. You're going to go talk to Piper, right? Jimmy asks. Already said I would, Jimmy. I say, trying not to sound annoyed. Teresa and Nat sit cross-legged on the floor. Nat unpacks her yellow dress, the special one, which now has 7 of Sadie's good day buttons. Is Mom going to sew a button on that when you have a good day here? I ask. Mom's not much of a seamstress, but she could probably manage a button. No, Mom. Sadie, Natalie says firmly. She takes out her socks and puts them in a drawer. They make a peculiar thump when she drops them, like they're made out of metal. Do you think... Clue. You think she'll tell the truth? Jimmy is focused on Piper. Wait a minute. What was that? I jump up and I paw through Nat's drawer. My hand snags something hard. I pick up a sock sagging like it's full of stones. Inside is an enormous metal screw, 8 inches long and a good 1 inch wide with a wash on it. What's that? Bottom drawer, says Natalie. That was in her suitcase? Let me see. Jimmy takes the big screw from me and he turns the thing over in his hand, twists the washers up. It's used to force things apart. Uh-oh. I know what this is. It's a bar spreader. Bar spreader? What bars? Asked Teresa. Jimmy leans in. No secrets. I'm telling. Teresa gives him a swift sock in the arm. Prison bars, Teresa, so they can escape. Teresa's mouth drops open. You're lying. That's a big fib, Jimmy Madaman. I grab the bar spreader. It's in my hand now. We all stare at it. What is it doing in Natalie's suitcase? Nat, how'd you get this? Nat doesn't answer. That's what set off the snitch box. My father should have found it, Jimmy whispers. He thought it was metal buttons. She's taken out a button box before, though, and it never sets the snitch box off. He should have kept looking, says Jimmy. Oh, Trixel's not going to like this. My dad's already on probation, Jimmy says. They're both on probation, Jimmy. He'll be fired, Jimmy says in such a low voice I can barely hear him. They'll both be fired. Or killed. Not killed, Teresa. Definitely fired, Jimmy says. They already think Nat's a security risk. We don't have to tell anyone. We can throw it away right now. Bottom drawer, Natalie mutters. Why does she keep saying that? How did you get this, Natalie? He told me to, says Nat. Who is? Who did? 105, 105, 105. Alcatraz 105, Jimmy whispers. 105 didn't give you this, did he? My voice cracks. When did you see 105? Natalie dives back in her button box. Natalie! Don't yell at her, Teresa says. Okay. Nat, when did you see 105? She's silent. We have to get rid of this, Jimmy. We can't throw it away. The cons pick up the trash. We'll throw it in the bay. We can't just take it outside like this, Natalie says. We need a bag. I look around Nat's room for something to wrap it in. Bottom drawer, bottom drawer, bottom drawer. She begins to spin in her spot. Natalie. He said put it in the bottom drawer. She struggles the sentence really correctly. I try to make my voice as calm as possible. That's good, Natalie. That's just right. But I need it, okay? Will you let me borrow it? No. No, 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 no. The door bangs. My parents are back. I hear them in the living room. How much do you think it put her back, my dad asks my mom. You know, the refrigerator. Natalie has her hands on the bar spreader and she won't let it go. We should tell, Teresa says. My dad will tell the warden and he'll be fired, I say. They wouldn't be fired if we tell the truth. Surely they will, Teresa. They messed up. Natalie, I say, look, I'll give you 5 buttons for this. She stops. 5 gold buttons? I know the ones she means. They're on my suit jacket, the ones I wear for special occasions. She loves those shiny gold buttons. My mom will kill me if I cut them off, but what else am I gonna do? The gold ones you like, and I wiggle the bar out of her grasp. She nods, but she doesn't let go. I get the scissors in my good jacket, and I snip those buttons while she plays with the bar spreader, absorbed with twisting the little screw up and down. 5 gold buttons. I toss them in my hand. Nat seems not to hear all our attentions on the bar spreader. It's nice she got something she's proud about. It must be so hard for her on her own, my mom's voice says from the other room. Then she stops. Moose? It's awful quiet in there. Everything okay? Yeah, we're fine, Mom. Nat, I whisper. Let's take the bar spreader with us. Let's put it in this bag, Nat. I grab my tote and offer to her. You can carry it, Nat. She takes the bar spreader and carefully places it inside. She holds the bag close to her, the way my grandma used to hold her pocketbook. I motion to Nat, Jimmy, and Teresa to follow me. We're going out, Dad. Not now, Moose. We're taking Natalie with us. It's getting late. I want you to stick around here today. Bottom drawer, Natalie says. Sounds like she hasn't finished unpacking yet, my dad says. Okay, sure, I say awkwardly and hurry Natalie back in her room before she says it again. What are we going to do? I'll think of something. What? I haven't thought of it yet, Teresa. Natalie, you want to give Teresa the bar spreader? She gave you those checkers, remember? You need to give her something back. Hair comb, Natalie says. Teresa already has a hair comb. She wants that bar spreader. You want Teresa to be your friend, don't you? Friend, friend, Natalie says. Uh-oh. What if she throws a temper tantrum with a bar spread in her hand? How in the world am I going to explain that? Natalie, please don't pitch a fit, please. It's okay, Moose, Teresa passed my arm. She's just talking, aren't you, Nat? Friend, Nat says. Teresa waits quietly, and Nat gives Teresa the bar spreader. Thank you, Natalie. Throw it in the bay, I whisper in Jimmy's ear. Get out of here for good, Jimmy nods. I know, I can handle it, Moose, okay? Sure, I whisper, of course. When he's gone, I feel better for about 30 seconds and I begin to understand the full extent of the problem. Someone expects to find a bar spreader in her bottom drawer. Somebody will be looking for it very soon. 22. Toilet stopped up. The next day when I get up, the sun is shining brightly. It's Sunday, September 7th. On the blue sparkling water, I watch the birds fly out my front window. A gull skims low on the bay. Things aren't so bad. I just need to relax. I decide as I head for the bathroom. The toilet's a little sensitive. Don't use too much toilet paper, my father calls out. The door to the bathroom's open. A chocolate bar sits on the sink. I try to keep my voice steady. 7 Fingers is coming? You betcha. He's on his way right now. Your mom's going to take Nats out to the swing so she won't be underfoot. Why? We weren't having plumbing problems last night. We're always having plumbing problems, Moose. You worried about Trixel? Her eyes are full of concern. My mom's watching me. Yeah. Though Trixel's the least of my worries right now. My mom mutters, don't blame you. Can't stand the guy. Come on, Nat. Let's get out of here, my mom says. But, Dad, I don't understand this. The toilet is working fine. Pipes are all hooked together, Moose. One person having plumbing troubles, and we all are. The whole building needs to be replumbed. Sure, but why today? Why not today? My father looks out on the balcony. Darby! He heads for the door and props it open for Trixel and 7 Fingers. Trixel walks in, hitching up his trousers. Right behind Trixel's is skinny, creepy 7 Fingers with that shaved knob of his head. I look down at his hands. 2 fingers are missing from the left hand. On the right there is a stump like a notch where his index finger should be. Come on in, Darby, my dad motions. 7 Fingers is the picture of obedience. Following along Darby. His eyes never leave the carpet. It seems like he sees everything, though. My father touches his officer's cap to greet 7 Fingers. He nods without meeting my father's eyes. Darby's lip curls at my father. He and my father won't agree about anything. Even the way my father says hello to the cons is a problem for Trixel. Too respectful. Trixel would have a convict on a leash like a dog if he could. Let's have a look. Let's see what you think, my father waves towards the bathroom. 7 Fingers goes into the bathroom. Trixel stands outside, leaning against the wall. He shifts his feet, eyeing our living room sofa. He seems to decide that 7 Fingers will be all right, marches into the front room, and plunks himself down. Can I get you something, Darby? You don't happen to have any of Anna Maria's cannolis around, do you? Ain't nobody can make them the way she can. Moose, can you run to the Madamans and ask Anna Maria if she can spare a cannoli? When I get back with the cannolis for Trixel, on one of Mrs. Madaman's yellow-flowered plates, 7 Fingers is in the living room. Trouble's worse than I thought. Them army pipes are 3/4 inch. They get jammered up real easy. Got some about ready to burst. Need to replumb the whole dang place, sir. You're not going to replumb the whole dang place, that's for sure. Get the ones that are about to burst and we'll call it a day. 7 Fingers puts his head to the side like his hearing's bad. His eyes on the cannolis. You heard me. Get a move on, Trixel growls. 7 Fingers sidles to the bathroom. I stay on the couch until Trixel and my dad gets talking about politics. My dad's eyes are riveted on Trixel's. The Work Progress Administration's going to get the whole country working again. Ain't nothing but handouts, Trixel says. Can't say I agree with you on that. My father grinds his teeth. This is my chance. I have to take it, but my legs feel like they're mortared to the couch cushion. I understand you got yourself a problem with that little girl, Cam, but this ain't about that. Doesn't have anything to do with Natalie, Darby. I'm only saying your situation's one thing and the WPA is another. I've made my legs move. They're walking me down the hall. Trixel, my dad, don't seem to notice. My heart is beating hard. 7 fingers as the bathroom door half closed and the water's running. A towel is slung across the knob. 7 fingers, I whisper. My mouth is so dry I can hardly get the words out. I peek in, but he isn't in the bathroom. I take a deep breath and I push the door open to Natalie's room. The bottom drawer is open. The shadow of 7 fingers behind the door. His tall, thin chest slips past me and back into the bathroom. My arms are stiff as sticks. You stay away from her, I say. This ain't kid stuff, he murmurs. The smell of bad breath. We know where she sleeps. The bathroom door almost shuts silently in my face. All right. We made it to page 154. Stopping at a pretty exciting point. 7 fingers is looking for the bar spreader. 105 gave Natalie. Well, remember, 105 was freed. So he's out in the world, and he could get to Natalie at the Esther P. Marinoff School. We'll pick this up tomorrow and see what unfolds in the 7 Fingers Bar Spreader Onion 105 adventure. We're on page 154, and the book goes to 258. So we're about 100 pages away. Okay, we'll talk later.